Hello, beautiful souls. Today is Thank You Plant Medicine Day. No, it's not. It's not. It's 2 days later. We had quite an epic storm here, had quite a long power cut, and today we have power finally. And yeah, it's been quite a journey. Um, yeah, not having power, and then just like also like the weather is just really windy and really wet, and it's kind of like I surrender. Like there's nowhere to go other than into the storm. So I had quite a lot of interesting experiences aligning in a certain way that I feel like I've really like learned a lot during the storm. So thank you, wind medicine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, plant medicine. So today I'm going to be talking about psychedelics, plant medicines. Um, so I'm going to start by sort of talking about my experiences with psychedelics and how I've evolved forth this year. Obviously, like it's very hard to kind of pinpoint the exact experience that guided me to the conclusion or the insight that is present within me now. But nonetheless, I can say without a shred of doubt that that these experiences, these ceremonies, have just come to me on my trajectory at the perfect time for me to learn the lesson that will explain all of the context around my life in that stage of kind of challenging, kind of trying to navigate my way out of that labyrinth and try and see clarity and see a clear trajectory through my life. I did about 5 Washuma ceremonies. 4 of them were by myself. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about holding myself, loving myself, holding space for myself, honoring myself first, honoring my needs first. A lot of just joy, a lot of joy within my heart. Just my heart, just like everything's opening up like a flower, and then just like I'm just bathing in joy and love and carrying that with me and remembering that in my heart everywhere I go. When you're in this space, and then when you travel in the world, you bring yourself with you, as it were. Um, as long as I reside here in my heart space, then I'm where I need to be. That is what I choose to nurture and grow. That is the light within. That is my connection to source. That is my opening to the divine. So it has been just this journey of finding myself, really, and Washroom has really been gentle, a lot gentler than ayahuasca, for sure. It's a much different experience. I wouldn't say I prefer, I mean, ayahuasca is terrifying, utterly terrifying, but they're both equally as valuable sources of medicine for me. Yeah, and then like I remember like walking home. So this was sort of by myself with the grandfather Washuma, also known as San Pedro. And then walking home, I found very, 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 very difficult because I suddenly realized, just as I was walking past people, that like, oh my god, I need to close this space because it's vulnerable and it's like, I still feel like I'm living in a society where I can't be that. I can't be my truthful self. I can't be my essence. I have to put on a really heavy costume and a really heavy mask and a really heavy uh, personification, when actually it's just like I want to learn to be somebody from myself, from this space within me, as opposed to from what society, what the media is teaching me, what the TV. And so I was really like, it was so painful. It was sad. It was so sad that it's like I've just found peace, and now I have to like shut down just so that I feel safe, just to walk home. And then I got into my place where I was living, and it was like like I could relax, but it's like I'm just stuck in a room. Uh, I want to be able to be myself around people, And that's been one of my lifelong missions, is to just learn to be myself around people. My heart is still guarded. My heart has faced a lot of painful experiences. So I learned a lot with the Washuma ceremonies, and then I did another one with my good friend, really good friend, um, and that was really powerful. I went into some really shadowy masculine stuff. Really, it felt like it wasn't. It felt like it was me, but it also felt like it was like the collective spirit, like the collective masculine, like some energy. And this is all just like the way I perceive it. I conceptualize it. I could be completely delusional, but this is what I feel is true to what I experienced, and it felt like the collective wounded kind of troubled man kind of came to me, and suddenly I was just channeling all this stuff to my friend, to my sister, to my female ally, and it was like it was like that message needed to be transmitted to women, because there's always been like a dilemma there. There's always been like a conflict. There's always been a kind of feeling of we're at odds with one another. And after I communicated that, I started going into some really shadowy, like I was like on the ground, like, and like I was shaking, and like I was really going through like a lot of sadness for like what mankind, what the man has faced, and what man has had to suppress in order to survive. So it's very, very interesting, and I'm really, really grateful for that experience. And then in December time, ayahuasca comes onto my journey. It's all getting really, really difficult. And I learned like being with the experience, meeting your experience. A lot of challenging stuff was coming up for me, and I was finding it really, really, really difficult to just be with it. I was trying to like stay upright in a positive, in this kind of like receptive, relaxed but alert kind of position. But towards the end, like it was just like, oh my god, I can't think. Like I had to lie down, and just like a lot of imagery and a lot of sensation, a lot of storm, a lot of heaviness, a lot of darkness, but a lot of healing around a lot of stuff that I've been ashamed of within myself. It was just suddenly I just felt this like divine light just coming down to me like this, connecting in with my heart and just awakening. And the message I received was, it's okay. It's okay to be like this. It's okay to be the way you are. It's okay to feel these feelings. I encourage others to talk about their journeys as well. I was getting to a point in my life where my mind was just so like rigid and so like stuck. It was just so bound in place, and it was just like it needs to break. And so like ayahuasca came and just like really just put her roots into my mind and just broke it open. It takes a lot of work to kind of unplug ourselves from what we're familiarized with, what brings us comfort and security in life. It's our fears that I think, certainly my fears, that kind of keep me very locked in on my trajectory. I've got a lot of fears within me that kind of prevent me from being who I want to be, from doing what I want to do. But it's a process. And I think psychedelics have the power to, ayahuasca, like, there are moments where it's just like, she's just merciless. And she's like, no, Harry, like, you've lived like this for long enough. It's time to create a new beginning. I've gradually been like finding a new way within myself. I've always been very hopeless growing up. I faced a lot of challenges in my upbringing around my schooling experiences. I don't think there are evil forces. First of all, I don't think evil exists. I think pain exists, and I think denial of that exists, and that's sort of where what the generations before me have pretty much, and still many people of my generation are still just denying their own feelings. And think that's that. I mean, pain, whether it's emotional, psychological, or physical. For example, when you put your finger on the fire, on the flame, you feel pain, and it's like there's a message there, like oh, okay, I need to take my finger off this. Which reminds me, I didn't light my candles. There's information that my being is registering, and that my mind often makes a story about, gives it meaning, conceptualizes it, because it's comforting to know what's going on. All the experiences that humanity has gone through in the past, like World War One, the trenches, all the experiences in the concentration camps. We don't learn about the human aspect of it. We didn't learn about the mind that faced that, the awareness that was with that experience of being in the trenches, watching their brothers blow up beside them that they've grown to love, like family. The wars that we've fought, they're still going on inside of us, and that is passed down the generations, because it isn't felt, it isn't dealt with. You had the silent generation after the war. I can't remember which war, but yeah, you had the silent generation. People didn't talk about their feelings. People didn't talk about their experiences. People didn't talk about the traumas. So many people don't acknowledge that within themselves. And it is this whole blue pill, red pill paradigm. Blue pill being, remaining in blissful ignorance, very numb to the extent of like what is possible to be perceived and felt. And the red pill is kind of like going towards these challenging truths, not just like a thought truth, not just like the sky is blue, but like the truth of, oh my God, like I'm in pain, my heart is hurting, I'm depressed, or whatever it is. I think paranoia, anxiety, I think a lot of these symptoms arise from denying what's going on in the world, and denying what's going on within ourselves. And so I think a lot of suffering comes from denying that, from suppressing it. And that's kind of what we've been doing. So we're kind of at a point now where it's like we can start letting our feelings up and talking about them and being with them. And to bring it back, psychedelics. That's right, I'm talking about psychedelics here. It feels like we're being guided. I feel like ayahuasca guides me to where it hurts the most. And I'm still very like fearful of that. And it's a work in progress. So it feels like this denying our own feelings. It's almost as if we've turned our backs on ourselves. And we're kind of running away from ourselves. When we feel a very painful emotion, we indulge in something, in distractions. We're hardwired to perceive fear. So we're sort of caught up in these trauma loops. And it's keeping us at war with one another. There's nothing really like that. We're not actually at odds with one another. Just want to put that out there. Just a bit of a sort of light bulb moment. We're not at odds with one another. It's as simple as that. Like, we're all trying to do the best thing in life. We're all trying to make our way. For people that, destroy people's lives, they're also just on their path trying to find their way, and they're just hurting. So everything comes from hurt. Everything perceived as bad, as an evil thing, is just someone who doesn't have the light, can't see the light within. Shame is a big one. And that keeps us in denial of ourselves. That keeps us offline. The more we come into alignment with ourselves, the more we love ourselves exactly, unconditionally, the way we are. We are humans, we're created, we're made in God's image. And we are of that. We are of the light of Christ, and it's within us. And what is God? Like, it's a vibration. It's love. It is wholeness. It is the universe placing itself exactly where it feels at peace to do so. Everything is at harmony with itself. And that's a feeling in our hearts. What is in here? What is left? And then all of a sudden all these feelings and all these painful sensations are emerging. So it's kind of been this process of coming back to that. Like, it's like I've been over there. It's like all this stuff. It's like I've been trying. Okay, come back. Embrace it. Yes, thank you. So Washroom has really helped me with that. It's kind of like I felt like it was like a grandfather energy, and he was kind of like giving me a hand up, and he was like telling me it's all okay, and he was like, hey, here's your stuff, here's your dilemma, here's the riddle in your mind that you can't figure out. Whatever your demons are, whatever is like causing you pain in your mind or in your being, and it's there, and then you turn around And it's like, oh, no way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's like, that's not, I've been perceiving it wrong. I've been afraid of it, and I've been creating stories around it, and I've been turning around. It's like, that's not even what it was trying to communicate to me. It's just a part of me that wants some love. That's been like seeking it externally. It's this validation, this love, this, am I worthy of being on this planet? Am I worthy of being your brother? Am I worthy of walking this street? Am I worthy of taking up the space and energy and oxygen? And this part of me that's just been so uncertain about that, and that's just been constantly restless, which I've been avoiding, and I've been residing in my mind, coming back to that and just like giving it a hug, being there for myself, loving myself, saving myself. Like, no one's going to save you. No one's going to save you. You save yourself in this life. And people that you meet along the way to finding yourself, to saving yourself, the people that you meet along the way are signposts, and the words that they say are invitations, are fingers pointing at the moon, and they are there for guidance. It's inside, because intuition, it's like the message is outside of us, like the experience, like all of this external phenomena. Wow, just all these things happening, and like, wow, all these experiences, all of these conversations I'm having, and all of these places that I just seem to be stumbling upon, perceiving it, letting it into my heart. How do I map this in? Is this a message? Like, how do I tap into my intuition, and relate to this experience? So the more I'm in tune with that, the more I'm in tune with my intuition, the more I seem to be aligned with my higher purpose in life, and the more I'm kind of connecting in with my mission in this life, which is to heal, which is to heal the wounds that have been carried from generation to generation. Doesn't mean you should heal, doesn't mean, and the way in which I heal isn't necessarily the right way for you to heal. For you to heal, it might be going to the pub, connecting in with people. And what's right for me in this moment is to do this video and talk about psychedelics and how I feel like it's important for other people who might resonate with psychedelics and resonate with this information that I'm sharing. My intention is to kind of put out these vibrations and kind of spread the word, create awareness around these powerful plants. I feel like healing should, be spoken about a lot more in schools. I don't think I've ever turned on the TV and someone is, I haven't watched TV in a long time. There's no talk about healing, there's no talk about psychedelics, there's no talk about meditation at schools, there's no talk about yoga classes. So it's not about like, okay, we need to get mandatory meditation, mandatory yoga. We need to be ramming like psychedelic knowledge down those kids. We need to be feeding kids ayahuasca when they're born. Like, no, it's about giving people the opportunity to learn. It's about clearing the space, the beginning of the new. It's like we're creating a new. It starts here within us, and it starts with our sangha, it starts with our community, and it starts with like sharing these vibrations, putting out positive affirmations, going into ourselves and loving ourselves, healing ourselves, letting Christ, the light of Christ within, letting the kingdom of heaven, opening it up, opening our hearts, sharing love into the world, not criminalizing people that just want to heal, that just want to connect with the plants, and soothe their anxiety. The amount of people that I've met that smoke cannabis for their anxiety, smoke cannabis for their PTSD, all this kind of stuff, and yet it's still illegal. I don't think anything really that we put into our bodies should be illegal. I think there's a lot of stuff out there that's illegal, and it's almost as if like there's a lot of protection, and a lot of like, oh no, like stay, don't go. Like I was climbing some stairs yesterday, and like down a cliff, down a mountain, and it was closed. I went down anyway, and the reason why it was closed was because there was a tree that was fallen down on it, and it's like I can just go underneath it. So I just continued, and I got to the bottom, and I'm like, that was closed. That's far out. We've got to protect the children, and it's like we're infantilized. We're not in our sovereignty. Everything's like, I'm more than capable of knowing what to put in my body. I'm more than capable of taking care of myself. I don't need a parental system in place. The more restricted we are, the less we're able to expand, explore, make mistakes, and get back up stronger. Under every kind of wrongdoing, there is suffering, there is trauma. So healing is like the essence of like how we move forwards, I think, personally. The baby cries, the mother is there to meet the needs of the baby. When pain is being called upon us, like a baby to its mother, do we turn our back upon that baby? Do we turn our back upon that pain? Do you ignore it? Are you truly there for yourself? Are you truly loving yourself if you ignore it? Or are you able to be there for it, and nurture it and nourish it? This is a part of us that's asking for love. Yeah, just bringing it back. Like, this is a part of me. This was a gift from God. This is a gift from me to fully explore and expand and experience and gift to others, gift to the world. So if these parts of us, if these gifts we've shunned away, and they're like, hurry, like, imagine a baby, like, mum just doesn't want to deal with the baby, and like, hides it. Imagine that for the baby. Imagine the suffering the baby would go through. So why do we do that for ourselves? Do we go towards it and love it and nurture it and embrace it and let it know, like, it's okay, like, I'm here. Plants, there are spirits, they're beings, they are conscious, and they feel and they perceive, and we, through us being so at war within ourselves, we then continue that externally. If we're at war within ourselves, we're at war with the external world, and we're at war with nature, and we're pouring oil into the oceans. If we were at peace in ourselves, we wouldn't be doing these things. One thing I learned from ayahuasca 2 years ago was I felt so sorry. I felt so much empathy. It was almost as if like I was holding all of the world's pain in one moment. It just felt like all beings, I could feel just how much pain they're going through and how much they long to be united with themselves, united with each other. And so ayahuasca, I feel deeply like her primal intention isn't for us, isn't for her, but it's for all of life. So she's saving her cells by helping us to do our work, and nobody is going to do our work for us. It's all done within ourselves, and these medicines, if you like, guide us there to do our work, to allow the light within us to cleanse our souls. It starts right here, right now, and we're doing it. We're here. We're the people that we've been waiting for. We are the saviors. Nothing's going to save us but ourselves, and it's happening right here, right now. So I hope all is well, really well. Blessing your souls. I hope that you are all finding your way. I hope you are all learning to love yourselves more and more, love each other more and more, trust in your guidance more and more. And I hope you guys are finding peace. We're all on that path from the head to the heart, from now to now, out of the labyrinth of trauma into the universe of love. We're all on that journey, and we're all walking each other home. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful life. Until next year, many blessings. Talk to you soon. From my heart to yours. Hi there. No, let's not start with a hi there. Hello. No, let's not do that either. I got a little bit lost along the way of that sentence there, but... Right. Okay. What else should I talk about? What else should I talk about?